Talk to us about the difference between listening and hearing and how that works in conversations.
In the Chinese script, there is a symbol called ting, T-I-N-G. If you look it up, you'll see that there are so many different aspects of listening. Hearing is like the outskirts, the edges of a conversation. So you're hearing quickly, you're hearing with a lot of distractions, you're making up your own stories.
Last week, I discussed the steps of listening in a solo episode. If you haven't listened to that, you might want to do so later. Also, Sunita and I talk a bit more about the difference between hearing and listening, and you'll be able to find that on YouTube. That link is in the show notes.
Also, hearing has a self-referential piece to it. So as I'm hearing what you're saying, I'm putting myself into your story. So I'm already thinking of when that happened to me or how I solved it, or, oh, that it wasn't as bad as she's telling me. I've had it worse. So all that stuff is happening. When you're listening, you're really listening with your entire being. So you're listening with your eyes. You're looking at all the nonverbals, what's being said on the face, on the body language, the whole thing. You're also listening with your mind. So you're piecing out some of the logical pieces. Is what the person's saying supported with some facts? What kind of questions might I ask? You know, the way they are thinking, where are emotions? When you think from the emotions, you're bringing in your heart. So you're listening with your eyes, your mind, and your heart completely. Because it's only then can you say, you've said a lot of things in this conversation. To unpack this, where might you like to begin? Or I could say, what is really bothering you about this situation? And then you could say to me, well, it's this. And then I could ask a couple more questions. And I could say, how are you feeling? What kind of emotions are coming up for you without labeling it for the person? So when you listen, you're doing a lot of things, which is very, very difficult because we are constantly distracted. So preparing to listen requires our attention. One feedback I got when I was working with one leader and her team, they kept telling me that she always appears so distracted. It was a simple fix. I asked her, would she be willing to go into either their office or to find another conference room for their one-on-ones, not to take her phone, not to be in front of her computer. Because what she was doing is she was saying, oh, yeah, I'm listening. I just have to type this quick reply to somebody. You know, the reason I started paying so much attention to this very, very early on, when my daughter was 7 or 8, she's 27 today. She was talking to me and I was distracted, and she came up to me, her tiny little beautiful hands. She put her hands around my face and she said, Mom, when I'm talking to you, I need you to look at me. That was a very powerful lesson to me. Regardless of who we are, regardless of where we are in life, regardless of our accomplishments and the ones that we are yet to have, each of us has a deep yearning to belong to each other, to belong to purpose, to belong to engagement and joy. There is a deep yearning, there is a deep longing, and listening completely allows us that privilege, the privilege of truly knowing what is in somebody's heart, regardless of where we are in the world. We're having the biggest difficulty in facing each other. All we are doing is facing away from each other. So that I feel pretty strongly about that part.
I was talking to my sister, and often she would say, oh, you didn't tell me that. And I was like, yes, I did. I wanted to blame her that she doesn't listen to me. But then I realized I also had some responsibility because I would be speaking to her while she was working on something else. I didn't ask her to pay attention. I wouldn't even sometimes call her name. I could be talking to myself for all she knows. And so that really brings up the question of how do we prepare to be able to have those conversations where we can show up wholeheartedly, where we can face each other.
Yes. So I think, again, it's in the permissions and what you're willing to ask for. People do this all the time. I have a quick question. This will hardly take 5 minutes of your time. I mean, people say all these phrases all the time. We all do it. So if you are interrupted in something like that, then it is your ownership to say, I want to give complete attention to your question. Give me 10 minutes to finish what I'm working on, and I will come to your office to talk to you about this. Or to say, I am completely booked for the day. I want to listen and help you through this issue. You have my calendar for tomorrow. Put in half hour of conversation. So ask and do it politely, do it kindly. The thing is, in many ways, we are modeling. When they say leaders get the behaviors they model, it is true. So help people figure out how to engage with you. The more you do that, you'll get back. I think we are putting a lot of onus outside of ourselves and continuing to say, if only. I have something important to tell you. Why would you be working when I'm telling you? You're my sister. You should know better. You know?
Exactly. Yes. And I see it from both sides. So I could pre-plan, like, oh, let's spend dinner away from our computers and have a chat and update each other on what's happening with each of us. Or if I start talking when she is really not paying attention, there are two sides, right? It's up to me to notice, okay, this is really not a good time. And or for her to also say, oh, this is not a good time for me. Can we do it later, tomorrow?
And sometimes to honestly tell the person, I feel dismissed. I feel I'm not being listened to, and you're the person I want to share this news with. I think we have to get better at telling people why they matter to us. That's the real piece of gratitude, that I am truly grateful you are in my life. That kind of a thing. That comes from the place of just human to human.
Go to changesbigandsmall.com to listen to the rest of this episode. You can listen and subscribe to download full episodes of the Changes Big and Small podcast each week for free.